Alright gang, welcome back to our competitive one-tile challenge here on Farmlands. It is now May, and I've moved all of the mowing equipment over here with our fertilizer creation, or our fertilizer plant, I guess I should say, or fertilizer production, whatever you want to say it. I moved it all over here just to make it a little bit easier, right? This is going to be our main grass field. Like I said, we will put in another grass field at some point, and replacing one of these other ones, but for the time being, this is and continue to will be our main point of grass field, so we might as well move them up here. It's going to give us a little bit more space in our main yard area as well, which I think is huge for us. Now today, similar to the last episode, although last episode with putting in those sugar beets, we actually ended up having quite a bit to do. Today is not that. Today we literally have to mow this big massive grass field here, get it all picked up, put into our silage pole, and then at that point we really don't have anything else to do today. This is it. The mowing of the grass today is all we have to do. So I've been kind of going back and forth a lot on the prickly pear cactus item and moving that. I think we will be moving that today, just specifically because there's not a lot else for us to do. And I think in the last episode I talked about potentially, waiting to move that, whenever we actually needed that space. But since we don't really have a whole lot else to do, I think it's just, we might as well go ahead and do it today. So we will do that. Also, we might end up, well, probably not even might. We likely are going to end up paying more of the loan off today. We are going to get paid a good amount of money here when 9 o'clock hits. As a matter of fact, I don't think I turned those on. I should do that really quick. Give me just a second here. I need to turn on the selling of the methane and of the electric charge. And as you can see, we've got a decent amount, 111,000 liters of electric charge and 1,473 liters of methane. So we'll get that going. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. I remembered at the very end of the last episode I said we were going to do a real quick flyby over the guys and see what they were doing. I didn't end up doing that, so I do owe you that, so I will do that today. Hopefully Rusty's okay. He keeps popping up. His little mic keeps popping up. I haven't heard him say anything yet, but I'll try to pay attention. If he does say something, I might have to do an abrupt stop to the record real quick just to see what he needs, but hopefully he's alright. Hopefully it's nothing major. Anyway, here's all the stuff, as I mentioned, right? I just moved it over here. Now, I would love for that little cone thing to not be there, the cones and the rope, I guess. I would love for those not to be there. But they are, and it does not allow me, it's like an invisible wall, it does not allow me to put equipment in there, because I would love to be able to put some of this equipment back in there. I think that would be fantastic. But it is what it is. Can't do it, can't do it. So, let's just do a quick flyby before I forget about it right now. Their links to all of their playthroughs are down below. Well, their links to their channels are down below in the description. Make sure you check them out. But just do a quick quick fly through here. I'm not going to look into anything in heavy detail of any sort, but you should watch their videos to see heavy details of stuff. But he added another level of sheep there. We did have hail that occurred overnight. We took a lot of loss, I think, on our fields because of that hail, unfortunately. Krusty's been very busy, kind of reorganizing things, and I do like the way he's set up his pigs and his cows. He's utilizing the same manure pit here. I like that setup a lot. That's a really good setup. He has his pigs over here. I think his goal initially is once they run out of food over here is to move them over to here. Yeah, he's got a big field over here. He combined all those fields into one big field. I don't know what that is. Sorghum, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Maybe we'll look at it later. But he's got a big operation going, so he's really kind of pivoted and got himself in a position to get himself back up into competition, which is good, right? We want all three of us to be in that competition, so I almost feel like I'm a little bit behind now all of a sudden out of nowhere, which I thought I was making a huge jump in front of them, but they've caught up pretty quickly. Anyway, hope you're doing well. We've got a ton of eggs. We need to go to the shop pretty much immediately here, but I'm going to get the grass mowed first and buy some food for the chickens. The chickens are out of food, so their health is declined and in a bad spot, unfortunately, but I don't want to go up there just yet. We will go up there in a minute. We are going to have to go up there anyway for more silage additive. We need more silage additive for this grass that we're mowing up. So we got to go there anyway. So we'll just try to kill two birds with one stone, although, it, you know, as I mentioned, it probably doesn't really make that big of a difference because we don't have a ton to do today. But we'll see what we can get into. We haven't made any kind of... We haven't done any kind of pranks on the guys in a while. I don't really have any specific ideas of things that I want to do yet, but maybe I'll come up with something. We will see as we move along today. Now this field, given the amount of grass in this field, it is going to produce a lot of money for us, right? This one, it always produces the most money for us. So the BGA is going to be plentiful with stuff that's going to produce a lot of money for us next month, which is going to be good. I think next month, we'll have something ready to harvest, maybe? Maybe not. I don't know. We might not have anything to harvest next month. If we don't have anything to harvest next month, we're going to be screwed. We're not going to have anything to do. I don't know what we'll do then. Guess we'll have to figure something out, but I have no idea what we're going to do at that point if we don't have anything to harvest next month. And I think there's a high probability that we're not going to have anything to harvest. I think we'll have to do some drastic measures. Maybe go around the outside edges and try to get more grass up and things like that, and maybe move some more stuff around. You know, I talked a long time ago when the series first started, right? We're just putting stuff down, but I'm not, you know, I wasn't positive that this is where I wanted something to be. And once you start putting in different productions that are more, you know, that are bigger, right? They take up more space. Things start becoming a little more difficult to maneuver. So if I could do it all over again, I would. It's not the smartest thing for me to do is to go and sell everything and re-put it down. I'm obviously wasting money doing that, but, you know, when it makes sense, if we're going to put something else down, which, as I've mentioned, we're definitely going to be aiming to do that, then yeah, we'll do it. But we'll see. I guess is how I'm gonna leave it at that. We'll see. We'll see what we end up getting into next month if there is nothing to harvest, which it kind of seems like there's not going to be. Now we are doing this video back to back. As a matter of fact, I think Crestu is gonna be busy this weekend, so we're doing these two on the same day. So we haven't installed any other new mods or anything like that from the last episode, but not necessarily that we needed to, though, either. I mean, it probably would have been nice for us since we're going to have a lot of money here once 9 o'clock hits again, and we sell all that electric charge and that methane, but... Sugar beets are good. They're about as good as you could possibly get them to be. Let me pull over here to the side. I'm going to show them to you really quick. They're about as good as you could possibly get. I think we have like a 97 or 98% yield potential there. By far going to be the highest yielding field that we've had so far in this series. Now that we have the roller, all of the fields honestly should be at that level moving forward. Yeah, 97%. So... I mean, that's going to produce a lot of sugar beets, man. That's going to be good for us. It's really going to be good for us. We obviously had a little bit of hail damage here as well. As you can see, that grass is at a different growth stage now because of that, unfortunately. But you can see in the distance there, the canola got hit. All of our fields got hit pretty severe. I think we got the worst of it. I think we got worse than everybody else. I think Rusty had quite a few, but we really got dinged by that hail, unfortunately. Used market. There is a truck out there, a semi out there. Would be nice to have, but I don't necessarily think that we need it right now. We're not really doing a whole lot of carting right now. At least we will be, obviously, once we start harvesting these fields a bit. But, you know, most of it we're turning into products, right? We're not just going and selling it outright. So, I see the positives and negatives there. I just don't think the positives outweigh the negatives on that. And in other words, what I mean by that is I just don't see that we're going to get our money's worth out of that, because we're not really going to use it all that much. The only time we'd really utilize it is when it's time to go sell the pallets, and we would need a flatbed trailer for that as well, so that's another expense to incur, right? And I just think what we have right now is plenty. I do want to expand the animals a bit more, I think. I want to add, I think, another level of sheep, I think. We talked about doing that in the past. I think I want to do that. I've also started to consider doing cows. I'm not sure I'm going to get into that, though. I think they both are now doing heavy animals. They're really pushing the animals right now. The animals would be good, I think, for the BGA perspective, you know, to put slurry in there and manure in there. Not sure exactly how much we would actually get from that, given how far along we are. I guess what I could do is just buy all of the animals to fill it up, right? Or most of the animals to fill it up in another, at least, right? But doing that is going to take up more space, right? That's another thing that's going to take up space. Not necessarily that it's a bad thing that's going to take up some space, but it is going to take up some space if we do that. If we were to do it, it's probably going to be up here in this corner, I would think. I think that's where I'd want to put it, which means it's going to take away part of this grass field. But as we talked about before, right, as long as we're going to take one of these other fields and turn it into another grass field, which that's the goal, I don't think it's that big of a deal. We're still going to have a pretty decent-sized field here, even if we do put down, you know, one of those cow enclosures. Maybe that's what we end up doing, you know, next month if, you know, if we don't have anything to do specifically. Maybe that's one of the things we can focus on. So there you go. You can see the chickens are not in a good spot. Meadow grass relatively okay for the rest of the cows and the sheep there, at least for a little while. We are going to have to buy some more there, or at least mow some of this grass and put it in there for them at some point soon. But right now, for the time being, I think they're okay. We do have to buy some chicken feed, though. While we're here thinking about it, let's just go ahead and buy some of this. Chicken feed. I'm gonna buy. Ooh, you know what? I screwed that up. I probably can buy some from our buying point, can't I? From our buying silo. I bet I can. I should probably go that approach. That would be easier. I don't know if it would be cheaper, but it would be easier. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So how much food can they actually accept? I don't know. It doesn't tell me there. We should try to figure that out. So that way I don't buy too much, right? The last thing I want to do is buy too much. Although I can just throw it into one of our productions. Well, throw it into our mill and just store it. But that's what we were doing before with the wheat that we had, right, for the chickens. Now, speaking of all the things I talked about kind of in the last episode, right, are we going to really be needing the mill on the long haul here? Probably not, right? We can probably start to think about getting rid of that relatively soon and just use the planter as we move forward. Because we can use sorghum for the chickens, right? I guess it depends on if we want to continue to make the flour and stuff, which right now we do, but I'm just not sure if that's going to be the case later on or not. And I guess the canola too, right? I guess canola as well, canola oil. Okay, 9 o'clock hit, by the way. We jumped up to 107,821 bucks. So that's the kind of money we made from that, which is awesome. Like I said, it's less than what we got before, and that's kind of to be expected, given the fact that the field we had mowed and put the grass in from is significantly smaller than this one, right? So, kind of expect that. But $107,000 is really nice amount of money to have. It's a really nice amount of money. Just see if we can clean up some of this other stuff here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to or not, but we'll try it. Looks like we got most of it. I guess that's the only problem with where I put some of that stuff. It is kind of a bit in the way there. Well, that's alright. It's close enough. Alright, there's a little bit down here for us to get, and then we're done with the mowing, and then we just got to get this all baled up and then put into our silage pole so we can get that underway. But again, we do have to buy silage additive, which that we are going to have to go to the shop no matter what for, right? Do not believe there's any way for me to transport silage additive from the buying silo. I don't think that's an option. Could be wrong. I'm not sure how I would get it there. I guess I would need to use the water tank potentially, but I don't think that's even a possibility in the game. I don't think so, at least. That'll work. I'm just going to leave that there for right now. We're going to head down here, pick up the trailer, and buy some food for the chickens. I don't know how much, though. I don't know how much it actually... I think it holds like 10,000, I think. Is that right? Does that sound right? I really don't remember. We have a ton of eggs, though. Man, there's so many eggs, which is a good thing. It doesn't say. We have 900 out of 1,200 chickens. That's a lot of chickens, man. That's a lot of chickens. Let's see. I fully expect that we're going to be able to do this, but let's try it out at least. Let's attempt to see if it lets us do that or not. Oh, Rusty put in a mill. He put in a mill. It does let us do it. Okay, so hold on a second. Let's see. Let's try to be smart about this. Let's look and see. 156 for barley. Sorghum 215. So it looks like barley potentially, right? Alright, we're going to go with that. $1,507, which is about the amount of money we would paid for a bag of it. I think that's a little bit cheaper actually buying it from the silo, so I think that's a little bit of a help there. I just hope all of this will fit in there. Okay, it did fit in there. Yeah, it's probably 12,000 actually, looking at it now. But I'm okay with that. That's going to be enough. It's going to get them back in a good spot for a little while. We should, like I said, have a field to harvest here soon, which will help us at that point with the chickens, right? All right, let's drop that off there. And we'll head back here and get into the baler, and we'll get this grass field taken care of, huh? All right, we need to roll that field, but otherwise that is all done. So we're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a pit stop here. We're going to go grab some of the silage additive, because I do believe that silage pole is a little weak. As I mentioned, I think it's going to run out today if it hasn't already run out. Yeah, 12 liters of silage additive in there, so we definitely need some more of that. So we're going to buy some more of that. I'm actually going to buy, I think, a couple. Like I'll buy 2 of them, just to make sure that we're in a good spot there and we don't have to worry about anything. So we'll do 2 of those. Perfect. So it puts us at just slightly over $100,000 in the bank account right now. We'll take a look at everything else as well. Prices of everything, right? I think we do have 1 pallet of clothes that we could go sell because they were best. Well, they were average best last month. So we can go take a look at that as well. I give old Rusty a little honk on the way past. Trying to think of some things we could do to him today, Rusty and Krusty. We haven't done anything for a number of episodes. It's been quite a while, actually. So I think it's long overdue for us to have a little fun at their expense today. So we'll see what we can come up with. I'm not sure what that will be yet. I'm going to see what I can come up with. On the way back out of here, even though we still have half a tank of gas, I am going to just top off the gas here in the tractor here. That way we don't have to come all the way down here. Now, I could obviously just buy it at our buy point, but I'm just going to do it while we're here. Gas isn't that expensive. I'm not too concerned about it, which is kind of crazy to say. It's ironic to say that when in real life gas is very expensive at this point. But in the game, it's not too bad. So I think what we're going to be doing today is well, not even specifically today, but I think what we're going to be doing here soon is kind of making a bit of a change to our greenhouse as well, our greenhouse setup. Up to this point, we've had one cricket production and then one pumpkin production. I think we're going to be making a bit of a change to that. Might do it. I don't know if we'll do it today. It might be... Yeah, it'll probably be next episode, especially if we have nothing to do. We'll probably do it then. But that's definitely something I'm just going to drive across the trough here. Shouldn't do that, but I'm going to do it anyway. But that's something on my radar to do as well. It's going to clean this area up here on the side a little bit. It is going to require us to spend a little bit of money removing a few things, then adding some things kind of back. But I think it's going to be for the better. I do. I think it's going to be a big key for us to be able to continue to make a lot of money, too. So we'll focus on that. You never know, we might do it today. It really just depends, right? We haven't really... I mean, it feels like we have, but we really haven't spent a whole lot of time yet. There's still a long time left before the guys are going to be done recording. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to go record as long as they're recording today, right? There's going to be certain months where I have a lot to do and they don't, and then right now, obviously, is a time period where we don't have a whole lot to do, but they are doing a lot, right? So, we'll see. We will see. Put the steering assist on here, just to help me out a little bit. Perfect. So, let me kind of talk you through what I'm planning here. So, a long time ago, we talked about the crickets, right? We've only put down one cricket greenhouse to date. We're going to go kind of heavy on the crickets here. The reason why we're going to go heavy on the crickets is because we're going to go with the approach of putting down the flower, the insect flour mill that we talked about before. We're going to go with that mostly because, well, quite frankly, the crickets make a decent amount of money. They really do. They make us a decent amount of money. They only require water. We're getting 1,111, 1,090, whatever it is, every month, right? But if we go in here and we look at the insect flour, which we went way past, we're going to double the price, if not a little bit more, right? We're going to double our money that we're making off that. And if I can start supplying it a significant amount of crickets, you know, maybe we have 2 or 3 greenhouses of crickets, I think that's going to help us, right? I think that's going to help us a lot. So we're going to see what we can do to make that work. Now, I really need to kind of look at it and try to plan it out a little bit. I think given the current circumstances of what we got, I don't think it is really planned properly. I think we can do a little bit of a better job. You know, where I put the BGA at, it was, you know, in hindsight, I probably should have moved it in a different location than it was. It's kind of playing a pivotal role, kind of causing a bit of an impact. I thought it was going to be fine where it was, but the more that we continue to progress here, it is a bit in the way. I should have moved it elsewhere, but you know, I can't do anything about it now, right? We're not going to be selling that. It's just too expensive, right? Some of these other things we're talking about selling and moving around, I mean, we're losing a little bit of money, but we're only losing, you know, a couple $100, maybe $1,000. We're not losing a ton of money when we're moving those. Not that concerned about that small amount of money, but something like the BGA, which is outrageously expensive, that's a completely different story. So we've got to, it's there, we're going to have to live with it, right? So, I think there's some other ways we can move some other things around to position them a little bit better that will give us a bit of a better opportunity, a better chance at making, well, giving us a little bit more room within the yard area that we've made so far without having to branch out too much further. I do think at some point we are going to have to branch out a little bit. I'm not quite sure where that's going to be at yet. It honestly is probably going to be up here on this corner near, you know, our fertilizer production here. I just think, you know, since we've already put something down here, just taking over this area to the left here makes a little bit of sense. But we'll see, right? We'll see. I just want to make sure that whatever we're doing, we're trying to make the use of our space as efficient as possible. That's what I've always been about since we started this episode, started this series, right? That's why I have all my stuff in a very, confined area, right? I haven't really branched out too much with the exception of this one, and I guess the silage pole. I really haven't branched out too much in regard to moving things away from that area, right? That's really been kind of our entire production yard equipment. It's all been secluded to that specific area over there, right? So that's kind of what we're hoping to kind of keep going here, if that makes sense. Now, having this roller is, as much as I hate them, it is super nice to have it because it is giving that application of fertilizer. We don't have to spend any money on the fertilizer. Granted, we are making our own fertilizer now, so technically we can get it for free. But I would much rather be able to sell that fertilizer. That's something actually that I haven't looked at. When is the best time to sell fertilizer? We should look at that right now. Solid fertilizer. When is the best time to sell this? Because maybe it's today. It is not today. It's September. Okay, so we've got a ways to go. But that's fine, right? The price, well, honestly, let's look at it. The price doesn't fluctuate at all, so we could really sell it anytime we want. But given the amount that we have in the bank account right now, and that we're not too concerned right now with money, I'm not going to really focus on selling that until it's the absolute best time to sell it. There's just no reason not to. Or it gets maxed out, of course. That's always something that we have to consider. It looks like that tractor that Rusty bought was a new tractor. I didn't even notice it. I thought it was the same one. He did buy a new tractor. So he got rid of his other one. Interesting. Okay, well. So we're cruising along here nicely, man. We've got a little bit left to do of this field, and then, like I said, we'll see what we can get into. I don't know what kind of pranks we can pull. I'm trying to think of things I could do to them. Just running into them, it's kind of old at this point. We've done that so many times. What else can I do? Can I move some things? Can I maybe hide some things from them? That would be kind of fun to do. I think there's absolutely an option for us to be able to do that. We just have to kind of sneak about it and figure out what we can do to move things around. I think that's the next thing we can do, is if we can get something that's, heavy enough that we can actually, push something out of their yard way over here in the middle of the open or something. I think that would be a very harmless, funny prank when they're trying to look for that piece of equipment and they can't find it, and it's randomly in another field somewhere. I think that would be pretty funny. What I would love to do... Well, I'm not going to say it. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it, because there's still hope with another season after this one. There's still hope that I can maybe do this other one. It's a little bit more... It requires a little bit more than just pushing stuff. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I won't say anything else besides that. They watch these videos just like I watch their videos. Although sometimes I'm a little bit behind. They watch them, I think, pretty quickly in comparison to me. I'm normally about a week behind sometimes, just because I don't have the time, unfortunately, to watch them. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to give anything away to them. That's right. Make sure you guys are paying attention. Okay, so let's see. Let me see. Is this even going to work, actually? That's what I should look at first. Is this even going to work? So, if we're going to do the crickets... If we're going to do the crickets, we need to have enough room to be able to drive through here and drop the water off. We can do it. We absolutely can. If I line them up this way, I think that's going to work out well for us. It's going to give a little bit of space here. What am I going to do with that space? Well, probably nothing, really. But it allows us to drive through and drop the water off. This corner down here, we've got to figure out something to do with that. I've got some ideas. The ideas I have are not cheap, but I have some ideas there. I'm not sure if it's the smartest thing to do at this point in the series, given the fact that we don't have a ton of time left, right? We do. Well, let me take a step back. We do have a ton of time left, but the cost of the item that I want to put down Am I actually going to make money? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, probably. By the time we're done with the series and we sell everything, probably. But it'll be a little tight, and it's a lot of money, right? So it's a lot of money to spend right now. Okay, so production-wise, $50,000, and this is not like it's not like it's a small production here, right? This is a pretty hefty production. Ooh. No, that I wish we could flip it the other way, where I could turn like the outside, like where the outside little cover is, and like the silos. I wish I could flip them on the other side of the building, invert the building basically. I wish I could do that, but that's not a possibility. Okay, well, that's something to think about, I guess. Maybe it's not going to work like I think. It's really the worst spot to put that, I guess. I really put that in a terrible spot. Alright, that's done. We're going to go ahead and get rid of the prickly pear cactus here. Like I said, we'll lose a little bit of money, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. And we're going to find it again, and then we're going to place it up here in the corner, like I talked about. I'm not sure if you can hear that in the background or not, gang, but we got a bad storm coming through, so it's really loud. A lot of thunder and lightning right now, so if you are hearing that, I apologize. Alright, we'll throw that there. That should work. It's only taking over a very, very tiny bit of the actual field that we put down on the ground, so I'm perfectly fine with that. And that will resolve that. We got to bring some water up there to that. Now, what I'm thinking of doing here, and like I said, maybe it won't be today. If it's not today, it'll be next month or next episode. But what I'm thinking of doing is kind of lining these up this way, right? Maybe 3 or 4 of them. Getting rid of these 2, and then basically we're going to net one more cricket farm in the process. We are going to lose a significant amount of money from doing this. We're going to lose 5,000 from the cricket there, and then quite a bit from that, as a matter of fact. Maybe I shouldn't get rid of that now that I remember how much that is. I completely forgot this was a $30,000 greenhouse. Maybe we shouldn't do that then. Okay. Well, maybe there's a bit of a change of plans there, but I could still get rid of this one, though, I think, and still accomplish what I want to do. It just may be with less greenhouses than I initially had thought. Meaning, you know, I could still do probably 2 of these over here, I would think. 1 there and 1 there. I think I could easily get 2 in there. So it is still a net profit of 1, but we would not get the 3 like I was hoping for. At least in that specific setup. Now, I could sell this, and probably get another one in here and still be able to do what I want to do. The other option is what we talked about before, right? Is going with the cattle pen option here. which I still think is a solid one to consider. Might even, you know, kind of put it, well, I don't know, I shouldn't do that. That's going to cause issues there, because we have to drive the water tank over there for that, so I shouldn't put that there, but I could potentially put it here, though. There shouldn't be any problems with it going here. Do we go with that? These are tough decisions for me. Maybe not seem like it, but this is a tough decision for me here, gang. I'm very tempted to put in the cows, just specifically based off of... I think I'm going to put them here. I think I kind of have to put them here. I think that silage pole is a bit in the way, though. I'm not against that. It's going to take away a significant amount of that grass, but I'm not against it. I do think this might be the smarter play right now. The greenhouses I want to do, maybe we can do them next month. You know, maybe I can think about it a little bit more. I can try to sort out a little bit more about how we're going to go about doing it. I completely forgot how expensive that pumpkin greenhouse was. That thing is so expensive. I don't think that's a smart play. Losing $15,000 is a little bit different compared to losing just $5,000, right? Or $1,000 or $2,000. That's a pretty significant hit to our overall price there. Having said that, I mean, at the end of the episode, or the end of the series, I should say, we're going to sell it and get that price anyway, so does it really matter? I guess not, but I guess in the end, we're going to make more going the way that I want to go with it than if we weren't to, right? But this would essentially allow us to have a little bit more money when it comes to the BGA production, right? I tell you what, I've got a lot to think about here. I don't want to do something like that and then regret it. I want to think about it a little bit, and those of you that are members that get to see this early, maybe you could provide some input as well. I would think I would be able to at least see some of your comments before we do another recording here, since we're kind of recording this one a little bit earlier than we normally would for reasons that Crusty, I think it was busy this coming weekend, so yeah, let's leave it there. I don't want to do it and screw something up. Let's leave it there. I'm going to leave the episode at this point. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash that like, subscribe button for me. In the case you have yet to do so, they're free. They help me a ton. Thanks to my members. I cannot thank each and every single one of you enough for your continued support. It really does mean the world to me. There's a link down below if you're interested in that. You do get early access to videos like this one. My second channel is down below. We're doing playthroughs on Red Dead Redemption 2, on the brand new High on Life 2, and on the brand new Dynasty Warriors Origins DLC. So if those interest you right now, I'm playing through those, but I've got slews of other games that I've on that channel that I've played through over the last 5 years or whatever it is that I've had that channel. So Discord's down below as well. Check all that stuff out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.